السميع العليم من الشيطان اللعين الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله بارئ الخلائق أجمعين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، سيدي وحبيبي ونور قلبي وثمرة فؤادي أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين الذين ذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في محكم تنزيله: أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. واعتصموا بحبل الله جميعا ولا تفرقوا واذكروا نعمة الله عليكم إذ كنتم أعداء فألف بين قلوبكم فأصبحتم بنعمته إخوانا. صدق الله العلي العظيم. My dearest distinguished scholars, Samat al-Sheikh, al-Ulama, Imams, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. First of all, quickly going to my point. Today, when we take a look about the changes that is going on in the world, and I mean in the Muslim world today, we know we need unity more than ever before. When we take a look about the type of killing, the hatred that is going on in the Muslim world today, we need unity more than ever before. But what is so sad, dear brothers and sisters, is that when you look at the ayah we just read, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. If you just take a look at this ayah and try to understand what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about, it's very sad. You look at the ayah, the verse, and our situation. Now, one point I just want to emphasize, and that is the end of the ayah where Allah said, وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. Do not divide. Now, between you and Allah, who do you tell don't divide? People who are already united, you tell them don't divide because you're already united. Or you tell people who are already divided, don't divide. Which one? Now look at the Quran. Allah didn't say, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ, and then it says, وَاعْتَصِمُوا. No, it said, وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. The word وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا, it refers that we are already united. But Allah is warning you not to divide among yourselves. That is the importance of the ayah. And when you look at the Quran and Islam that we're practicing today, Islam is a religion of unity. Look at every action that we practice as a Muslims, it's all based on unity. Number one, look at the 5 daily prayer. The 5 daily prayer that we perform, we do it Salat al-Jama'ah. And that Jama'ah, what does it teach us? When we stand in behind the Imam, among us you see some people are richer, some people are poor, some are smart, some are not. All different kind of people, different color, different language, different of everything. But when we come, Islam teaches you can be different outside, but in sight of Allah, you're all one. That is your practice. When Imam goes to ruku, all of us, we follow him, we go to ruku. When he goes to sajda, collectively we go to sajda. Every action Imam does, we all follow him collectively to show our unity among ourselves. Now you pass salat, you come to fasting in the month of Ramadan. Allah said, I don't care you are rich, I don't care you are poor. Allah said, in the month of Ramadan, I want all of you to fast and refrain from eating and drinking from this time to that time. From dawn to sunset, all of us, collectively, it doesn't matter what race you are in, what doesn't matter what color, it doesn't matter which country you are in. Allah said, collectively, this is to tell us that we are one nation. You go beyond that, you go to the time of Hajj, which is the biggest gathering. You find people from all over the world. And you know what is amazing? You might not speak their language. You might not know their culture. But you know, one thing we have in common is that when we see one another, we say, Assalamu alaikum. That is one common ground. Or sometimes you see, we call each other, Akhi, my brother, my sister. That means we are all one based on the Islamic teachings. My brothers and sisters, I don't want to take much of your time. The ayah that Quran mentioned, فَأَسْبَحْتُمْ بِنِعْمَتِهِ إِخْوَانًا, that we are brothers in Islam. And you come to Imam Ali in Nahj al-Balagha, he tells you there are 3 kinds of brotherhood. 3 kinds of brotherhood. Brotherhood number 1, I say, al-akhawwatu fi din. There's brotherhood in deen, in religion. Somebody we share the same religion. Is a Muslim or a Muslim. We practice the same faith. He or she is your brother in faith. Then there is another brother, which Imam Ali said, also al-ukhuwa is a brotherhood, but you share the same father or the same mother. It's your brother. That is the second one. Then the third one, Imam Ali says, there is a brother al-ukhuwa fil insaniyya. It's a brotherhood in humanity. He might not be a Muslim, but it's your brother. You have the same feelings. You have the same desires. You have a lot in common. When you look at this, you are a brothers in that sense. And then brotherhood in faith. And then brotherhood by blood. But you know the most important one of all. Which one do you think, brothers? You think about it. All of these 3. Which one is the most strongest one? Oh, the strongest one is not the one you share the same blood. No. The one you share the same faith together. That is the strongest one. You know what the Quran says? It says, فَإِذَا نُفِقَ فِي السُّورِ فَلَا أَنْسَابَ بَيْنَهُمْ وَلَا يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, when they blow the horn, there is no any brotherhood. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, there is one brotherhood that stays. Which is, the only brotherhood that remains is the brotherhood in faith. You go to the hadith of the Prophet, one ayah in Surah Al-Nisa, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ, there are 7 people, 7 group of people, which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala special gave them a VIP treatment. VIP was what? That Yawm al-Qiyamah, they have special shade on their head. Then they asked the Prophet, who are those 7 group of people? The Prophet mentioned one by one, and then he got to the 3rd. He says, وَرَجُلَانِ تَحَابَّا فِي اللَّهِ وَافْتَرَقَا عَلَيْهِ. 2 brothers or 2 sisters, they love each other. Not because of business. Not because of job. Not because of any interest. They love each other because of Allah. Because of faith. And that brotherhood is what the Prophet and the Quran and Ahlul Bayt, they emphasize. Because this is what we need to work on, brothers and sisters. Not only that, you go to the Prophet. When the Prophet moved to Mecca, to Medina, what did he do? First thing that he did? The first thing the Prophet did is to teach us the importance of brotherhood. The Prophet brought Ansar and then Muhajir, and then he asked the Ansar, he said, come closer. The Ansar comes there. And then he asked the Muhajir, he said, give me your hand. And he takes the hand of Muhajir and put the hand in the hand of Ansar. And then he said, هَذَا أَخُوكَ فِي الدِّينِ وَالدُّنْيَا وَالْآخِرَةِ. This is your brother. Not just in this world, in the religion, in this world, and the hereafter. And take good care of him. And you see what the brotherhood did in that time? You see, a Muslim brother has a house. He divided half and say, half is for you and half is for me. His wealth is divided into two. Half is for you, half is for me. Brotherhood, this is the brotherhood that Islam is teaching us. But the last thing I want to say, brothers and sisters, how can we bring this brotherhood back? It's the simplest step we can do. I just want to mention 3 points. Point number 1. The main problem that we have and the reason why we are lacking brotherhood among ourselves, according to the Quran, see, everything you want to do, it has to have a base and foundation. You want to build a house, you need a foundation. You want to build a brotherhood, it needs a foundation too. What is the foundation that Quran told us? Told us that if we want to have that brotherhood that the Prophet was able to build and establish, which we are lacking today, what is the foundation? Where do we start? Now go to the Quran. Now before the ayah I read, وَاعْتَصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ, you know what Allah talk about first? He said, يَا أَيُّهَا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ حَقَّ تُقَاتِهِ, which Mufassirin, they said, the reason why Allah started with the taqwa first and then ended with the unity, because Allah wants to tell us that the base and the foundation of unity start with the taqwa Allah. And that is why, so one of our scholars, rahmatullah ta'ala alayh, he said that is the reason why when you put 124,000 prophets in one room, they will never disagree with each other. You know why? Because they kill that selfish inside them. And built what? Allah in their heart. So Allah is the focus in everything that they do. That is the first thing we need to work on ourselves, individual level. That is the point that we need to start. That is number 1. Number 2, after we finish with the taqwa, another thing the Prophet says, he said, أَلَا أُعْلِمُكُمْ بِشَيْءٍ إِذَا فَعَلْتُمُوهُ تَحَابَبْتُمْ. Wallah, common thing, if we do it, it can generate the love among ourselves as Muslims. The Prophet said, do you want me to teach you something? If you do it, it will cause the brotherhood and the love among yourself as brothers and sisters. They say, Na'am ya Rasulullah. He said, أَفْشُوا السَّلَامَ بَيْنَكُمْ. He says, spread salam among yourself. Do you know one of the things we miss in brothers and sisters when we see each other? How do we greet each other? What's up, right? How are you doing? That's how we greet each other. When Islam teaches you assalamu alaikum, it's kalimat dua, it's a prayers, which the Prophet said it leads to the love and unity among ourselves. That is number 2. Number 3, we need to put the differences aside. Instead of focusing about how do I disagree with the brother, let's focus at how do I agree with him. And that is the teaching of the Quran. In Surah Ali Imran, Allah told the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, even those who are not on the same page with you, Ahlul Kitab, Allah said, فَقُلْ يَا أَهْلَ الْكِتَابِ تَعَالَوْا إِلَىٰ كَلِمَةٍ سَوَاءٍ بَيْنَنَا. Let's find the common ground and work on that common ground instead of working on differences. If we can put these things that the teachers of Quran in front of us, I think the problem is already solved. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala help us to work on this unity. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.